All right, we are live. It is Sunday afternoon. Can you guys hear me and see me okay? So we jump in here. How's everyone doing? Everyone doing okay? Let's get into it. Can you guys see me? It is Sunday and we're getting ready for the week here. All right. Welcome everybody. Feel free to comment any ticker symbols. We're going to jump into our Sunday stock talk here. And if you have ticker symbols you want us to look at, drop them down below in the chat. If you have any specifics on those moves, let me know. We're going to go into the AI space and tech stocks today and some of the major moves that we're going to be looking for this upcoming week. So just a heads up as well, I'll be live tomorrow morning at market open. If you want to watch us trade in real time, react to the market side by side with us, see the play-by-play as it happens, it's the second link in the description below, and I'd love to see you there tomorrow morning. So let's jump into it. See some ticker symbols there already. Let's go. Bugatti says Big Bear AI. Declan, what's going on from the UK? Good to see you here, Declan. So guys, we're going to jump right in with the first ticker symbol here, which is Big Bear AI here from Bugatti, which sounds like Bugatti. I would imagine that's intentional. What are the things? So you think it's going to blast off and you have a lot of shares. Are you serious? Someone says it's going to blast off to $10,000. I don't think that's going to happen. Well, let's take a look at it. In the AI markets, we saw some green towards the end of the day and then kind of into, after hours, getting ready for the weekend or the week. And you see green. What's going on, Sherry? How is it going today? So we could do an analysis on SoFi for you for sure. So let's jump into first and foremost here from Boo. You got Big Bear AI. So let's jump into that analysis here. Let's see where it's at. There it is. And Big Bear AI has really been holding around this $5 support level. What's going on, Ben? And we've seen them start to potentially validate the 200-day moving average. Kind of see these levels we were watching here on Friday. We see this level down here to the support around $5 a share. And we're looking for them to recover from $5 back up into about $6.50 a share. This is a company that specializes in AI-driven analytics for top government contracts, including TSA, Army, Department of Defense. They work with the Pentagon, and they're still fairly small. But we've been actually covering them, and I mean literally covering them at least 3 times a week for the last year. And through that time, we've had highs and where it's at $10 a share. And everybody's saying this is a $40, $50 stock. Get ready to Will, I hate you. Where do I send the hate mail when it's down to $2 a share? To wait, I think we're on to something. Will, did you see it's up to $8 by July? And then, by September, people are ready to panic sell. And then everybody's maybe adding on the dip at the top here around $9. I'm just kidding. But actually, you look at the progression, and it's been so volatile over the last year in this surge from $1 a share up to now about $5.50. But in this volatility, there has been patterns. There has been some very great opportunities where we've been able to make money here. And there's also some levels that are very prominent. One of the key levels here is this $5 a share. You got a previous resistance back in January of 2025 here. And then you got that kind of acting here into more or less of a support zone. And then recently it bounced there around $5 a share about 3 or 4 times over the last month. You can see November, here's a bounce, here's a bounce, here's a bounce. And so what we're looking for is that recovery. Simply put, you're looking for that bounce, that validation of that 550 to not only in the shorter term trend, maybe reverse here from this downtrend since October, but also in the overall uptrend, kind of continuing that direction up into $6 or $7 a share. Now, it's really important if you're looking at investments to think about things in terms of, quality. We're not here to shill stocks that have bad volumes or bad balance sheets or extreme volumes. They have had some volatility in the past with negative net income, but they continue to deploy real world usage with some of their technology, which is why we like to follow companies that have real world usage. And they've also notably increased their assets to almost $1 billion in the last quarter, and defying what some shorts might have been saying, that the company was just in this transitional period. They're not going to be able to push through. They actually raised a large amount of money. You could see they're up to $1 billion there, nearly in total assets. And so, that's really been the story, and we see them start to continue. So again, this week, we still would love to see the green continue in the S&P 500 as it pulled back recently. We've seen that. So we'll watch, SPY. You can take a look at SPY. It's had that really consistent uptrend, and then boom, it kind of corrected back down. You can see that. It started to correct back down here and bounce. And so now the next level for SPY, you're basically looking at this previous support here around 650, that it could continue that trend, and that this is a momentary pullback before we see it continue, basically. And that's hopefully what we're seeing now with SPY. So if that's the case, you're looking at most stocks looking like a good deal. AMD pulled back recently in the AI market. Do they have more to pull back? Maybe. They made it a run up to 272. We've been covering them and kind of bullish around $75 a share or $80 a share even this past year. They've signed some deals with Starlink, and they're now one of the top suppliers next to NVIDIA for GPUs for driving the AI boom, and there's no slowing down there. So AMD's doing quite well. You see Oracle getting new deals. They've been doing well. And all these stocks on this list, for the most part, has been fairly bullish the last few quarters. Now, one of the companies we're also watching here in the chat was Redwire. You got Redwire as a recommendation. Let me take a look at it, as we have seen Redwire pull back as well here. So we're going to go over to our space tech watch list, kind of get a look at some of the companies. AMD's included because they provide the semiconductors for Starlink, but they're not, a space tech company. You get that. But in the conversation with Rocket Lab and Black Sky and Planet Labs, all these satellite companies coming up, you also have Redwire in that conversation. And who was it? Declan's looking for analysis on Redwire. The story with Redwire has been that they've continually been building their growth, and we see them start to get up to new levels. They've been having more financially good reports come out, and the only thing that's been a little bit hesitant is obviously kind of the insider and institutional selling. Despite, if we look at their financials coming in recently, Declan, they had a balance sheet here increase by 400% the last year, up to 1.5 billion in assets. Their equity in their assets is greater than their current market cap by 100 million. If you look at Benjamin Graham's notable philosophy for investment, that's what he always is looking at, and we see that take place. So the revenue's up 50% year over year. Net income still negative. They're increasing their revenue year over year. I like their financials, and their $875 million market cap is actually pretty small. If they're doing 300 million a year and they've got over $1 billion in assets or equity, then it makes sense that they would continue to see a market cap of between $5 to $10 billion. And so they've actually, despite selling off here, you could look at that and be like, oh, that's rough, which it is if you're a long-term holder. But their defense contracts have grown. They signed one of 14 contractors on a $2.6 billion deal with NASA. So they're growing. They also added a $44 million deal just this last week. You could see here on November 19th for low Earth orbit missions. And so the space company, it's rare you see space companies actually have that kind of revenue, and they're doing it quite well. All right, guys, so I got time for one more. Maybe we could still continue on some other ones. But APLD stock, let's take a look here. So APLD is, okay, before I move on, with Redwire, they've sold down to $5 a share. and I like the support level. It's previous resistance and support at $5 a share. I'm looking for a recovery on Redwire this week. Again, SPY direction, those types of things definitely play a key role in the overall sentiment. But as we've seen them start to recover, the nearest resistance is at 550. If they can break out at 550, they're looking to recover back up into about $6 to $7 a share, about a 15 to 25% gain. So I like that, but I think the longer term, if you really look at Redwire, again, real quick, just kind of take a look here. You can use support and resistance, all that, but look at Fibonacci. It's going to say if it's breaking above about 650, you're looking at a recovery that could be very big. We saw some volatility this year, but hey, if we get up into that $11 range, somewhere in here, that's over 100% increase on the stock. So that's something to watch with Redwire. Next one, APLD. APLD stock right now, I like the company's contracts. They got about 15 billion in contracts with data center companies. They've signed with NVIDIA is one of their top investors, and APLD recently pulled back. One of the levels to watch with APLD is going to be right there around $20 a share. You can see they pulled down and bounced at $20 a share this past week, and they're looking to recover right now. If they can hold above 20 bucks, which is a support, their overall uptrend continuing, their nearest resistance is going to be up around $22 to $25, which from here, it's about a 15% margin for profit. We like that on APLD this week. So we'll be watching APLD, but APLD also just signed a few deals in data center markets they're seeing increased revenue. And then finally, CTM stock. CTM stock, I'm holding it long term. I've been in it for a while. They just signed another $50 million contract recently, and they're at $150 million or $160 million in contracts. However, CTM is still only under $100 million a year and positive net income recently, along with very good capital expenditures. They've got more assets than liabilities. They've been growing. They're around the 200-day moving average. So we're looking for CTM to hold around $1 a share this week and then push back up into around $1.15 to $1.40 a share, which is a 10 to 30% increase. Now, this is high risk. You got to really look at your plan here. Same way that you might split up your money. Let's say you got money for play, money for expenses, money for your long-term, money for your investments, money for your crypto, money for your stocks or what have you. Same way you want to really allocate in these smaller cap companies, because this one is very high risk. Even though they have great financials and they got government contracts, they're still only under $100 million market cap. So I'd urge caution if you're investing in them. So bottom feeder, what's going on? Ruli and Zed Estates, thanks so much for tuning in. Would you purchase BBAI Leaps? Potentially. We'll be watching this week. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a really great rest of your Sunday night. And these are some of the top companies I just want to jump on here, tell you we're focusing on, and also hear from you guys what you're focusing on. All the ticker symbols you did are the ones we normally cover. But we'll have some more videos out too around nuclear, quantum technology towards the end of this weekend and into tomorrow as well. So look forward to that. If you guys want to tune in live tomorrow morning at Market Open, it's the second link in the description below to join StockMate. Would love to see you there. Get a free t-shirt. And we're there Monday through Friday, right at Market Open. You get an email about 15 minutes before for the link. And if any opportunities present themselves in the form of trades, you get to see my entries, see my exits, and also longer term positions. So again, that's the second link below. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys.